What's going on, guys? Mr. Octagonal here. Now, today we are back with the MLB The Show 19 rebuilding the St. Louis Cardinals. As I think it's kind of cool that we're rebuilding not as bad of a team. If you look at the rebuilds I've done, the only team that isn't horrendous that we've rebuilt is the Tampa Bay Rays, and that was a while ago, so I guess it is pretty cool. And at the same time, we do get an opportunity to blow up this roster, as most of their good players aren't the youngest and probably won't be great by the time the rebuild ends. So let's take a look at the squad. I think the squad's actually very good. I think they have a chance to compete in the playoffs. Looking at the rotation, Miles Mikolas, not bad, but he's 30. Jack Flaherty, definitely someone we want to build around. Michael Wacha, not really. Adam Wainwright, he's old as dirt. And then there isn't really anyone great in the farm system. Andrew Miller is a phenomenal reliever, but he's older. Carlos Martinez, if we keep him, I'm going to start him. 86 stamina is too good for a long reliever. Someone like John Gant is more of a prototypical long reliever. And then Jordan Hicks, definitely a player we're going to build around. Looking at catcher, Yadier Molina, phenomenal player. I think he's a Hall of Fame caliber catcher. However, we are going to trade him. Paul Goldschmidt, great player. He's a free agent at the end of the year. We're going to trade him. Colton Wong, not bad, but 28-84. That's not great. Matt Carpenter's 33, which is way too old, obviously. Shortstop Paul DeJong, 25. That's a fair age. I really like Paul DeJong, really good player. Marcell Ozuna, phenomenal player. Like Goldschmidt, he's a free agent. Center field, Harrison Bader, my Golden Locks brethren. Obviously, he's sticking around to the rest of the video. And then Jose Martinez, really underrated player, but he's 30. Not really too special. So, our first trade, Yadier Molina, is headed to the Giants for Brandon Crawford and Jake Wong. I don't think he's related to Colton Wong. And then Brandon Crawford, we had to throw him for salary reasons. He's not going to stick around, obviously. So, for Matt Carpenter and Jose Martinez, I got Michael Chavez, which I was very tempted to do. However, we're going to take German Marquez and Carlos Estevez from the Rockies. Two pitchers we can build around rather than one infielder. And we're getting that infielder in this trade, Paul Goldschmidt and Tyler O'Neill, who are both solid players, to the Padres for Eric Hosmer and Fernando Tatis Jr. Obviously, Tatis is the big fish in this deal. Hosmer's just here for cap relief. And Fernando Tatis is obviously going to be a beast. Need to trade Dexter Fowler for salary reasons. And then we're throwing in Michael Wacha as well, getting Alec Hansen and Jose Abreu. Nothing special, nothing too awful. Abreu is a free agent at the end of the year, so we do want to trade him. And then on our next deal, Colton Wong and some minor leaguers for Michael Chavez. So we end up getting Chavez anyway after considering getting him. So welcome aboard, Mr. Chavez. Next up, we need help in the bullpen, so we're trading some prospects for Jose Alvarado from the Rays. I think I just got him in my Marlins rebuild, but he's a really solid pitcher. Andrew Miller and Marcell Ozuna are headed to the Arizona Diamondbacks for Archie Bradley, Robbie Ray, and David Peralta. With those two's contracts, I couldn't really get any sick prospects. We had to get those guys. And then a huge trade here, Miles Mikolas, Harrison Bader, and John Briba for Ronald Acuna Jr. I did not want to trade Bader, but it's Ronald Acuna. So you know what I decided to do? We're getting Harrison Bader right back, baby. Michael Chavez, Archie Bradley, and Jake Wong. I wanted to keep Chavez. I wanted to keep Bradley, but I have to bring back Harrison Bader, and then I can't pass up Ronald Acuna. And then David Peralta and Brandon Crawford are going to the Blue Jays for Ken Giles and Aaron Sanchez, two very solid pitchers. Need to trade Eric Hosmer for cap relief. J.A. Happ, not a player we're going to build around. And then Anthony Siegler is not a bad prospect. And then J.A. Happ immediately going to the Dodgers for Will Smith and Joe Kelly. Just got to save cap. And we're not really going to look to build around any of those guys. And then Jose Abreu, he is a free agent, so we're going to trade him for Cody Allen and Jeremiah Jackson. Solid reliever and a decent prospect that we're getting. And then Joe Kelly to the Cleveland Indians for Bobby Bradley. I wanted to get the channel legend. Of course, Bradley was a legend in the Tigers series from MLB The Show 18. So, that was a lot of trades. That was a lot. Here's a new look at the squad. Those top four guys, Bader, Tatis, Acuna, and DeJong are going to be great. And then the rotation, we have a few building blocks. Jack Flaherty and German Marquez for sure. And then the other three, solid players, but neither of them are extremely young. And then the bullpen, Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hicks, maybe Carlos Estevez, maybe Cody Allen. they are all very solid players. So this year could go decent. Looking at our draft, Henry Fernandez in the first round, that looks like a really good pick. Eddie Moya, round 2, really good. Carlos Camacho, really good. And then after that, we simulated, and the CPU didn't really get me anyone exciting. So for me, I personally drafted quite well. At the end of the year, we won 79 games, which is not awful. I figured we'd probably do a little bit worse. Looking at the stats, not too bad from Harrison Bader, pretty average. I guess I didn't show the rest of the lineup by accident. Nothing was too exciting. And then the pitching, not great, not awful. Need to see more from Jack Flaherty. But other than that, no one else was too shabby. And then looking at the bullpen, Alvarado was decent. Giles was pretty good. Jordan Hicks was not good. And then the Red Sox once again beat the LA Dodgers in the World Series for a second straight season. So we need to clear up some cap space for free agency. Carlos Martinez and Brett Cecil are headed to the Twins for some starting pitcher. I cannot pronounce his name, but he has a potential. And then looking at free agency, no one too eye-popping, but there are some decent players we could look at trade bait, like Yasiel Puig. I never see him in free agency. I guess the Reds decided to give up on him here. Marcell Ozuna, he is back with the Cardinals, which I guess is pretty funny. Yasmani Grandal from the Milwaukee Brewers is headed over. So we're pretty much signing anyone who's good. We also signed Garrett Cole. I guess it didn't show in the video. So we got a tempting offer from the White Sox, but you guys know me. I'm a biased Tiger fan. I have to get Casey Mize. And then Christian Stewart is also cool as well. And then Yasmani Grandal and Yasiel Puig to the Brewers for Christian. The ladies are yelling for Yelich, getting an upgrade in the outfield. And then in the Rule 5 draft, we drafted Willie Calhoun because we want trade bait. And then we basically flipped him for Brendan Rodgers. So basically we're getting Brendan Rodgers for 3, which is pretty crazy. So welcome to the squad, Mr. Rodgers. And then Cody Allen and some prospects are headed to the Rangers for Ronald Guzman, talented young first baseman. And we have a decent amount of arms in our bullpen. And then Ken Giles, Alex Reyes, and Will Smith are headed to the Dodgers for Keibert Ruiz, a potential young catcher. So, welcome to the team, Mr. Ruiz. Ken Giles isn't the youngest. So, here's a look at the lineup. We have a bunch of building blocks on the squad. This is actually after like 6 games. I accidentally simulated. So, the stats are there, and everyone's doing pretty poorly so far. I think we had like 1 win at this point. So, the pitching rotation does need some work. We could use an extra starter, and then the bullpen does have some holes. Only 2 or 3 guys that we want to build around long term. So looking at the draft, another solid one. Freddie Perez, solid. And then after that, I simulated. Once again, the CPU really didn't do anything too crazy. So on to the end of the year. We actually lose 4 more games. I definitely think the squad was better. Don't know if they're quite playoff contenders yet, but I think this was an 85-win team for sure. Ronald Acuna was very good. Fernando Tatis wasn't too bad. Brendan Rodgers was not very good. Yelich was good. We saw Acuna, De Jong, Harrison Bader, pretty good. Guzman, not too great. Keibert Ruiz, pretty average. And then the rotation, Jack Flaherty, once again, not good. German Marquez, however, was good. Gonzalez was not. Sanchez was not. Robbie Ray was not. And then looking at the bullpen, looks like everyone was not too great. Jordan Hicks was nah. Jose Alvarado and Carlos Estevez were pretty good. And then the Yankees end up beating the Chicago Cubs in the World Series. So finally, no Dodgers and no Red Sox. On to free agency. It's a little bit better. Obviously, the big name being Mookie Betts. We are looking pretty good in the outfield, but hey, it doesn't hurt to take a 99 overall player. So Marcus Stroman accepts as trade bait. Mookie Betts accepts. Trade bait, maybe not trade bait. Maybe we keep him. And then Marcus Stroman, Yairo Munoz, and Carlos Camacho are headed to the Yankees for Luis Severino. I want to get a legit ace, and Severino is definitely that. Robbie Ray for the Cubs, for David Bote and Brandon Morrow. We don't really need David Bote, but he could be good trade bait. Brandon Morrow's kind of old. And then him and Aaron Sanchez are headed to the Phillies for a pitching prospect, and Sir Anthony Dominguez, talented young relief pitcher, and we could use help in the bullpen. And then we would also sign Brad Hand. Good to get some extra help in the bullpen. So, big trade here. Christian Yelich, Christian Stewart, and Ronald Guzman for Cody Bellinger. We already have guys in the outfield we like in Ronald Acuna, in Mookie Betts, and Harrison Bader. Yeah, I'm not choosing Christian Yelich over my Golden Locks buddy Harrison Bader. And then we're going to get Kyle Freeland from the Rockies for David Boat, Brusdar Gatorwall, the guy we got from the Twins earlier in the offseason, and someone else, as we're getting a really nice left-handed pitcher. And then this lineup looks absolutely sick. Betts, Bader, Acuna, Bellinger, De Jong, Tatis, Henry Fernandez, our first-round pick from a couple years ago, and then Keibert Ruiz. And then Brendan Rodgers will be playing instead of Henry versus lefties. In the rotation, we added Luis Severino, Kyle Freeland, and then called up Casey Mize. The bullpen looks a lot better. This team could be scary. Hopefully we do really good this year. I definitely think we can. And we end up winning 103 games. We won 29 more than last season. We get the number 1 overall seed, which is very nice, taking on either the Nationals or the Cubs in the first round of the playoffs. Mookie Betts was good. Harrison Bader was good. Ronald Acuna probably won MVP. If not, maybe Cody Bellinger did. Paul DeJong was great. Fernando Tatis was the definition of average. That guy barely played. Henry Fernandez also barely played, unfortunately. Keibert Ruiz wasn't too bad. No, Brendan Rodgers. Oh, no. That was with DHs. I'm blind. And then looking at the rotation, solid year from Severino. Freeland was good. Flaherty, once again, was not. Marquez was, and then Casey Mize was as well. Bullpen, long relievers, Sir Anthony, not too good. Estevez, not too good. Jordan Hicks, not too good. Jose Alvarado was incredible. And then Brad Hand, about 3. Not too bad. So taking on the Nationals in the postseason, we win Game 1 against Max Scherzer. But then we lose to Patrick Corbin. So it's 1-1. 2-1. We better not choke this. 2-2. Don't choke it, Casey! Yep, Casey Mize ended up choking it. On to the offseason, and the Phillies would defeat the Yankees in the World Series. So looking at free agency, this is stacked. Season 3 free agency is always incredibly good. We don't have a lot of money, but we can spend to get a few players. So we're going to start with Archie Bradley, who we traded for in the beginning of the video and then let go. And then we're also going to be signing Francisco Lindor. So welcome to the team, amigos. And then next thing's next. Why are we on this screen for so long? I'm doing this post-com, by the way. Here we go. We're going to get Eric Feedy from the Nationals for Max Schrock and Jeremiah Jackson. The CPU offered that to us, and I thought that was a good deal. So here's a look at the lineup. We are adding Francisco Lindor, and that's about it. Henry Fernandez and Brendan Rodgers are now both bench bats. And then the rotation. The rotation itself is the exact same, and then the bullpen is very similar. We just added Archie Bradley and Eric Feedy. So hopefully this team can do some great things. I absolutely think this roster is capable of winning a World Series. And the AAA team won the championship, so maybe that's a sign. The AAA squad is actually really good because they're like borderline 80s who would be on the Major League team if we weren't so stacked. So I didn't catch how many wins that was. I think 110, which is a lot. Harrison Bader, solid. Ronald Acuna, very good. Bellinger, very good. De Jong, very good. Lindor was really good. So was Fernando Tatis. Keibert Ruiz was great. And then Mookie Betts, who was injured for a while, he was not too bad. Luis Severino was incredible. He had to have won Cy Young. Freeland, not bad. Flaherty, nah. German Marquez, not awful. Casey Mize, not awful. Eric Feedy was really solid, but bullpen was pretty good. Everyone's ERA under 5, which is not too shabby. The closer, Jordan Hicks, once again, struggling. He has not done well at all here in the sim. So we did end up winning 110 games. We're going to play the Atlanta Braves here in round 1. We win Game 1. We win Game 2. Don't you dare choke this. And we ended up sweeping them, bringing out the brooms. Now it's time to get revenge of a Washington Redskins. The Washington Nationals, sorry. They win the first 2 games. They win the next game, so we're down 3-0. Time for a miracle. Now it's 3-2, and then we lose. So, usually I stop after 4 years, but I think this team is very capable of winning the World Series, so we're going to go one more year. Angels end up beating the Nationals in the series. So this team doesn't need too much help, and we don't have a lot of money. This free agency class is absolutely stacked, and it was hard not to go after guys, so I made a few small moves, trading German Marquez and some prospects for Yusei Kikuchi. Marquez, his rating is declined, even though he's still in his 20s, and Yusei Kikuchi is like a 97, so I figured I'd do that. That's really the only big change for the team. All around, the squad is really good. The lineup is pretty much exactly the same. And then the pitching rotation, other than the addition of Yusei Kikuchi, it is once again pretty much the same. Bullpen, not too different at all, except for Archie Bradley taking the closer role. He's now a 98, so I guess that's why. And then before we see how we do, I figured I'd show that. We're ranked first in everything except for power, which we are second. So yeah, we end up winning 105 games, 5 less than last year, but winning 105 games is never too shabby. So looking at the stats, none of the offensive players were insane. Mookie was solid, Bader was solid, I guess Acuna was pretty insane. Bellinger was solid, Lindor solid, DeYoung solid, Tatis not great. Keibert Ruiz was pretty good. So other than Acuna and Ruiz, no one on offense was outstanding. Severino was decent, Freeland was decent, Kikuchi was good, Jack Flaherty was a total disappointment in this rebuild, and then Casey Mize was not too shabby. The bullpen was also really solid, not great from Fede and Dominguez. Jordan Hicks finally with a good season. Archie Bradley not great even though he was a 99. So taking on the Padres, we lose game 1, we lose game 2. Come on, you say we win game 3. Will the Padres choke a 2-0 lead? The answer is no. We get eliminated. So we're never going to make the World Series in this rebuild, even though this team was absolutely stacked. One final look at the roster: 4 99 overalls, Acuna, Betts, Lindor, and Archie Bradley. So that's going to end the video. Definitely one of my better rebuild teams. I know I say that every rebuild pretty much. Look at that. Casey Mize with an 81 ERA. Is he trying to live after another Detroit superstar? So I guess that's weird. You got to do better than that, Casey. Have a good one, everyone.